The Devil's Soul, Book 3, Chapter 13, Section 9, Philadelphia, PA, 2010s. Susan, oh Susan, where has she been? She has been here all along, yet not entirely present, like some sort of Schrodinger's cat in his life, both there and not, existing in a quantum state of motherly chaos. Susan of the elfin-faced fury, eliciting contempt, even disgust with her relentless, obtuse rage. She sets social fires wherever she went, provoking deep primal urges in others, urges to destroy the unfit, the deformed, the problematic. These urges perhaps were no different from those that fueled the contagion of witch hysteria that swept through the last millennia of Western history. It was easy to laugh at her impotent rage, to quietly deride her pale, almost translucent skin, sickly white, stretched over narrow, fragile bones that seemed breakable with mild effort. It was easy to tell her crazy ass to back off, bounce, or take a walk, as Eli would say, but her words had a way of lingering. Her insults, her accusations, exaggerated and full of venom, always contained some glittering kernel of awful truth, a truth that would gnaw at the edges of your mind. You're bipolar, hypomanic, you need help. You're a narcissist. You know that, just like your father. Perverts, misogynists, narcissists. You mother. And then there were her deeds, her malicious deeds, the phone calls to workplaces, to extended family members, to significant others, and even the families of significant others. Her accusations, malicious, cruel, functioned as curses. Sometimes they were so ludicrous they bordered on parody. Other times they were softened with a veneer of elicited sympathy. Poor old, hard-working, open-hearted Susan, abused by her son, abandoned by her husband, used by her daughter, surrounded by substance abuse and sex addiction. Even when her attacks were clearly unhinged, when she attempted to weaponize state forces like the police or child protective services, their corrosive effects lingered. She played on Melody's maternal fears, threatening custody with veiled insinuations. She targeted Eli's girlfriend Juliana, involving her nieces across the river in Jersey, and though she never attempted this with Eli's daughter Gracie, her manipulations had already carved deep wounds. Human perception, being as primal as it is, responded to Susan's tactics in its own way. Logically, those around Eli, Melody, and Paul might recognize her accusations as scurrilous, deranged, the product of a troubled mind, but on the subconscious level the damage was done. The murmurs of doubt persisted. What if Eli and Melody and Paul really were the terrible people Susan painted them out to be? Or more insidiously, maybe they're not as bad as she says, but perhaps they're still not worth knowing. The sickness of Susan's illness contaminated her family by proxy. The Machiavellian rule echoed in whispers: avoid the sick, the unlucky. Her family bore her illness like a second-hand infection, marked as outcast in her wake. Did Susan believe she possessed some archetypical witch's force, animating her relentless attacks? Perhaps, but she never let on. Outwardly, she claimed a mild atheism, a